I was watching that shit. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? Please stop doing this.
Doing what?
Remember the NBA Ballers Platinum or the original Xbox? I
Oh
was
yeah.
following that as an eBay follow, and I was like, what am I doing with my life? This is so fucking stupid.
You never know, man. It might come up with something super cheap and be like, all right, $5, let's go.
You know what I would do with it?
Resell it.
Immediately resell that shit and get a regular version of NBA Ballers and play the plain ass game. And not play these people's stupid games.
Oh man, I won't tell you.
What's vibrating? Not me. Not me.
Well, you hearing something?
Some weird like reverb.
It's probably my neighbor because they're firing up a muscle car next door.
Yes.
I can hear from here.
That is it.
There's nothing I can do about that. I can't go out there and tell them to not do that.
Stop, fuckers. No, you're good. We're live. It's very faint, and I know it won't show up on the recording, so.
It's just a very low hum.
It's
firing it up.
It's like your controller. Like you stop playing a shooter and you just set it down and you're like, all right, it's podcast time. You're getting lit up. It's like.
Yeah, on the Xbox controller.
Yeah. The original one, shake across the table. Make sure we have.
Just close all that shit.
There's our 3. Welcome 3.
Was it already up?
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't clicked on it yet.
Shit!
So...
we have a mystery.
Oh, wow.
We have a mystery third. Welcome third. Welcome to our.
I just got the warning. It's telling me not to share my password.
On.
I'll try to contain myself on Twitch.
Your Twitch password or our Twitch password?
Ours apparently.
Okay,
I don't know. Somebody's.
Be careful with ours. You can give yours out freely.
Sure. A bad thing about it is our password. So.
Oh dear God, no, it's not good.
So we both compromised, and I didn't follow any of the rules of IT security.
Yeah, everything so Twitch related got compromised via SSR. No, it says we only have 1 on here. Why does Twitch say 3?
Who knows?
Now it says 4. I give up. I don't even care how this algorithm works. This is meant for people with like 5,000 viewers. You realize that, right? So that when there's a fluctuation of like 3 or 4, they have no clue.
One day we'll get there.
For us, it's like make or break. It's a major difference in our numbers.
Here you go, Richard. You can pass that on to Brent too.
Do I even want to know what's happening?
You can guess when you look at it. It's stupid.
I'm assuming you're messaging me on the device that I'm trying to watch my favorite podcast on.
I got the iPad for that.
That's one way. Uno, dos, tres, cuatro.
What's on the top right screen?
Mario 64. I'll send it along to Brent. Brent needs to experience this. Did your package come from Tennessee back to your house? Back to Tennessee, back to your house?
It did today.
You made it. It made it.
A day late. Yeah.
What was it?
It had to go back home. It was the 4K version of
a day late and $1 short.
Scott Pilgrim on 4K Blu-ray.
El Scotto Pilgrimo. Yeah, that's fine. I can't find a good place to keep up with chat. I don't ever see... Like, Renee watches this on YouTube, and I want to keep up with Renee, but I never see it in the Restream dashboard, which is where it's supposed to be.
He might be alright, man. Renee's next door, so last I checked, he's asleep, so...
Well.
Somebody's watching us on YouTube. If it's not Renee, who the hell is it?
It's me. It's me.
You're on YouTube?
I usually get it up there that way, because I don't have the OBS like you do, so that way I can see the comments. So I got both of them up.
Sign into Restream. But as I'm saying that, I can see resolution, frames per second, bit rate. I see that sort of stuff as we're live, but I don't see the chat in this stream, in this field, I guess. What is this? No, that's to chat with them. I don't need to chat with them.
So that Tribute 64 controller is great, but you can only play it on this Mario 64 game. That's like the only thing you can use it for.
Which one? The Bluetooth one you were talking about?
Yeah, I mean it works well. It works like a 64 controller on the Switch.
And that's the only game you can play it on? Because it needs one analog stick, right?
I mean, you could play every game on there, but for me, it's the only one that makes sense. So, but it works, man. The C buttons work with the camera. Everything works. It works like a OG 64. Yeah.
Then you go in the handstand. It's like in and out of the handstand. Brant, did you run out of my t-shirts?
I think I've run through all of them. Yeah,
Gonna get
I
you some
actually
more.
think I have.
Fuck.
So don't come on the NOFODcast if you're not wearing one of my t-shirts.
It's horrible. It's the worst story I've ever heard.
I think you burned through them. It wasn't a whole mint. It was like 10 or 12, right?
Yeah.
That's like 10 or 12 weeks. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. All right, you guys ready?
It's a good run. Go buy me more t-shirts, Brant.
I have an ultra-wide monitor. I'm still gonna need to do what you do, Cesar, and branch another monitor off to the left just to keep up with stuff.
Well, I cut off I got a 5th monitor over here, so I got 5. Renee came in here and was like, "What the hell are you doing in here?" I'm like, "I'm just stuff."
Well, I watch us on. I make sure OBS isn't flaking out, and we don't go like somebody goes big or small every episode, and I have to adjust it. Then I have to make sure we're on Restream. Then I have to make sure the Skype NDI is recording. It's like, what do I not keep up with here?
Yeah, you're the one that needs it the most. I mean, I use the 5 monitors for work, so because I got like Outlook on one of them, and then I have like my remote desktop for the BS stuff I got to do, remote assist, and I don't want to say BS stuff. Somebody in my job might be working, but he thinks his job is BS.
Thinks it's BS. Oh, we can get rid of him and his BS.
Yeah, I'll find somebody who want to do that quote unquote BS
for way less money. Oh, you want less money, eh? Why are we Bane? Why do we turn it into Bane?
Yes.
I was doing this long before you were born, Cesar.
I was molded by the dark.
I was molded by the BS took me and embraced me. Made me who I am.
With his weird Scottish accent.
No one cared who I was until I said the job was BS.
Then all of a sudden it was the president and the CEO's business.
That's usually how it works, right?
I know.
You gotta get 100 fucking coins to get one of these stars. It's bullshit.
You're just flying under the radar, and then there's a blip on your radar, and then there's 5 people in your world. It's like, where did these 5 people come from? I've been supporting you forever. Why are you on my case now?
I'd be telling them about trying to get the 100 coins for N64. And they'd be like, what are you talking about? I was like, I'm trying to figure this out.
Or they might ask for help.
Built-in vibration is nice, man. It feels like the rumble pack's in there.
It rumbles too?
Yeah. It does it at the very top where you plug in a rumble pack, so it's exclusive to the top part of the controller. It's very... I'll have to bring it over to you sometime to try it in the 64 and see how it plays. Because I got the adapter for the 64 with it, so...
I've got that Mario 64 import with the Rumble Edition one. I wish they would do a ROM hack of that and put it on the English one so I could play it that way. Because it is pretty cool when you butt stomps and you feel it vibrate, you know. That wasn't around for the launch of the 64 as we knew it.
I don't know. I got in the 64 game like 3 years late, so yeah, I think you were on there sooner than I was. I didn't get my first 64 until like 99. I think I bought Renee's old one. I think that's how I got it. He dropped a TV on top of it, so it has a crack in the case.
Really?
Yeah, he dropped a 32-inch TV on top of it or something like that.
Damn. And it made him want to get a new one?
No, I think he got something else. I don't remember what it was. I think he might have stopped gaming at that time. That or I think they might have gotten the Dreamcast, and that's why they weren't messing with it. So
that makes sense. We had one before that, but not a whole lot before that. I think it was Christmas. It might have been Christmas '99, maybe '98.
See, the problem, man, I was a Crocs man, and Croc was not on the 64, so that was kind of like
that's the deal breaker.
The deal breaker for me. So it was like between the PlayStation and the Saturn. So I was like,
I'll go with whichever platform Croc is on. The best version of Croc.
It was my deciding factor, yeah.
All right, y'all ready to hit the ground running?
Sure.
Cesar, you're not with us on YouTube anymore, according to Restream.
I'm there.
That's weird.
Hold on. Wait for it. I'm there. I'm saying hello.
Did it go to sleep?
Nah. I got 5 monitors over here, man. I don't need that.
Send some in the chat, because I still don't see anything.
I just did.
Dashboard, live studio. Hold on, it's changing the channel. Stream professionally from your browser. Nope, that's not what I need.
I just got the start with the shoot myself in the island thing, whatever thing is.
I don't know where our chat is on here.
All right, save and continue. I'm done. All right, let me stop.
Can someone else keep up with the chat? Just in case we can. Oh, Twitch is
I've
offline.
been monitoring both. Because I got them into my web browser here. So
did I break Twitch? Is Twitch still up? It says I broke it.
Twitch is up.
Still going.
Restream just might have crashed on you.
Yeah, that's what it was. Talk shows and podcasts. That's our category. I think Twitch just kept stopped reporting was the main thing. I wish OBS would bring in the chat and then you were totally done with everything. You don't have to keep up with anything else. Just monitor OBS. Because I'm literally looking at 3 streams of the same version of us on all these. So
I don't know what to tell you. I watch a lot of stuff on YouTube, and 90% of the time is OBS is broken. So
OBS, I've actually got, since I put this podcast build together, we're fine on OBS. It doesn't fuck with us. We shrink and enlarge sometimes, but that's about it.
Because I saw a VTuber where they did a 3D model for VR, and they played Half-Life Alyx, and they tied their chat to their left controller so they can kind of twist their hand like this and they can see chat and see what they're saying and then twist it back down to play the game.
That's nice. And it's represented as an anime character flipping their hand on screen?
They're like a 3D model. It's very basic. So, but they're able to project the 3D model on screen so they can represent themselves.
Interesting. So. All right. Y'all ready to go live?
Yeah, ready when we are. Yeah.
Brant's ready.
Chicago, Illinois, 65652. Take a bite out of crime.
Too young for you, Brant. Too old for you, Brant.
I mean, Brant's about the DARE age. I still see some police cars there.
Did you get the DARE program, Brant?
Yes, I remember. I remember a little bit of DARE, and then they changed it to STOP. And then they changed it to something else.
What the fuck is
I wasn't there for
Stop?
Stop. Yeah.
I don't remember. I'd have to look it up.
Did you get
But I remember McGruff take a bite out of crime.
Okay, there we go.
What about the president's fitness test? You remember those days?
The fitness Grand Pacer test.
I saw somebody say the other day, since I've been alive, there's never been a president that could complete the presidential fitness test.
I know we had it when I was in Germany, so.
Climb the rope. Here's a rope. Go all the way up there. Hang on this bar for 6 minutes. What?
As I burn every callus into my hand as I try to climb the rope.
Item is out of stock. Well,
Brant was trying to buy the presidential fitness test.
The home edition.
Yeah, they're out of it, those bastards.
Oh shit. Brant, what were you trying to buy before we start recording?
Oh, I'm perusing the eBay.
Cruising USA.
Cruising.
Daytona USA.
Yeah.
I think I've already got Daytona USA over there.
Is it on your Sega shelf?
No, it's N64.
Cruising or
Cruising
Daytona?
USA. Daytona is
2 different games.
No, I've got Cruising. Yeah, I've got Cruising and.
I'm like, wait a minute. One of those is exclusively on the 64 shelf, and one of those is exclusively on the Sega shelf. Brant's looking. You can get up and check,
I'm
Brant.
looking.
We're not live yet.
No, I see Cruising USA from here. Do I not have Daytona? Damn, I might not actually have
Game
Daytona.
with the Saturn, Brant.
It's an easy one to find, though. You should be.
Yeah. Daytona.
Right. It's going to be, man.
Brant, if you don't have a copy, I can probably help you out with that.
Brand, if you don't have a copy, you can download one on your Switch.
Yeah.
Or you can play a burned version with your Sega Saturn Kai. Alright, y'all ready? Pseudo Saturn Kai. Sega Saturn Kai.
It's gonna be, man. setting up a chat in my enormous amount of windows here that's not necessary.
Keep track of it for us.
I'm watching. So far, so good. It's only 3+1.
I see 4+1.
わかりません.
We're just waiting on a lead in. Cesar, whenever you want to let us go.
I can't play the trumpet thing from Charge.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 166 of the NOFODcast. We are No Outside Food or Drink, the Southeast premier video game podcast. Tonight, decent amount of news. Sony buys another studio. It's like Ocean's 11, but with Xbox gift cards. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut. I thought we already had that. Apparently not. Let's find out later in the show. So about that Switch Pro, ... What's next for Assassin's Creed? ? And coming to Game Pass and PlayStation Now. The answers lie within. Guiding you to these answers and providing the answers are Richard Bergman, myself, along with Brent McKee.
Bringing you the news whether you wanted it or not.
We didn't want it. And Cesar Concepcion II.
That's what I'm here for.
Cesar, we wanted the news from you. We didn't get it.
It would have been a short show. It would have been great.
What would we have discussed? What would be on your list?
We
Mario 64 coins.
Pre-show about multi-monitor use, whether or not we actually have 4 people watching us.
5.
The good stuff.
4+1.
Yep.
Do you still have 3+1?
I have 3+1 and Twitch.
That's strange.
And then just 1.
Brant, thank you as always for building the news.
No problem.
Always a joke. If anyone gets confused, Brant builds the news for us every week. He does a great job. He sifts through thousands of potential video game stories. Sometimes, some weeks it's like maybe 5 video game stories.
Yeah.
And provides the top tier news stories for us to discuss as a podcast. Let's jump into the first one. Sony buys another studio. We discussed, I actually butchered this story last week, but Sony has bought another studio, and it's Blue Point. I got this one right, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, Blue Point.
Yeah.
Or is it Blue Box? The Kojima studio. All right, it's not Blue Point. It is Nix's. This is according to Gematsu. Sony Interactive Entertainment has acquired Utrecht, Netherlands-based studio Nix's Software, the company announced. Nix's software will join the PlayStation Studios Technology, Creative, and Services Group to provide high-quality in-house technical and development capabilities for PlayStation Studios. What did they work on? They were mostly a subsidiary of Square Enix, it seems like.
I thought the answer was commission. My bad. I'm sorry.
What did they work on? Passion. What did they work on? Equal pay. Probably not. They worked with Square Enix most recently on the Marvel's Avengers game, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, Deus Ex Mankind Divided, and regular ass 2013 Tomb Raider. One of my favorite games of all time. I thought they worked on that Resistance game for Vita that was so bad. But I think I got them confused with somebody else. There was another studio in there.
The Resistance game?
Yeah. Remember that one for Vita, Burning Skies or some shit like that? Who's the...
Nihilistic.
Nihilistic, yeah, that's who it is.
Nihilistic.
It was the other end studio. Oh, wait. Do I have to go grab my copy? You guys have yours. Do I have to go get mine?
Yeah, we'll wait.
That game was garbage. We all bought a copy. It was trash. Oh man,
I bought it on release.
Same.
So
that Resistance AI was, the Vita version was subpar on the AI. They just kind of stood there.
Needless to say, right?
Yeah, nihilistic to say.
There we go. That's your episode.
Nihilistic to say.
Yeah.
All right.
Right.
Who wants to take this next one? Go read this feature on an engineer who turned free Xbox gift cards into millions in Bitcoin from The Verge.
So this story revolves around a Ukrainian Ukrainian employee of Microsoft let's see,
So it's a high
he
story.
found he found this
What happened?
loophole in the Microsoft payment testing apparatus, and so what he would do.
It's
he would-
Office Space. It's Office Space.
Yeah.
Just
Pennies.
missing pennies.
They're just
rounding
shaving
up.
off
Nobody's
pennies.
gonna see them. Yeah.
Nobody will notice.
Nobody will notice.
So I mean, his job was to look for flaws. So
In the DPS reports.
So the biggest
Eating
thing
footballs.
was he
Michael Bolton. Sorry.
Oh, too much Office Space going on. Brant's never
oh
gonna
my
make
gosh,
it. Brant's never gonna
Stabler.
get through the bit.
that's my stapler.
I swear, if someone moves that one more time, they move my desk.
I'm gonna-
I gotta burn the place down.
What was that place called? Was it called Shenanigans? Was it? I can't remember the name of the restaurant.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like I think it was Shenanigans,
It's something like shenanigans.
something like that.
The pieces
With
of
what was
flair.
it? But with pieces of flair. You don't have enough flair.
Yeah.
You don't have enough flair.
So I had never. I'm derailing this totally. Sorry, Brant.
You're good.
When I first started working at EB, do you remember Thomas? He was the assistant manager when I was hired. He ended up at Lovejoy at one point, but he had this headpiece, and I still have it. He calls it the headdress, and it's like 4 of those lanyards. It's like Grand Theft Auto, San Andreas, and Halo 2, and all kinds of shit. And he has all the pins and buttons and everything they would send us attached to this headdress, and he called it the pieces of flair. And he would say that, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And that's when we sold DVDs, and he had a DVD brought in for me for Office Space, and I purchased it, took it home. I was like, oh my God, you and the pieces of flair. And I ended up with this headdress when he left. I still have it. All these pieces of flair with
Pieces of flair.
with like Monster Hunter pins and all kinds of stuff on it. It's crazy.
Oh man, like Monster Hunter PS2 pins or Monster Hunter PSP pins. I'm sorry, Brian.
This would be PS2 at this point. Yep. It's way
With the Sony
back.
Online logo.
Yep.
Broadband only.
Way back, because we worked together 04, 05, 06, I think it was. So it's way back there.
Just want to let you know we're officially dead on YouTube. I don't know why.
What happened?
It just says error occurred. Please try again later, and I refresh the
It says
page.
we're
and-
online on this side. And we're up on Twitch. Refresh your page and see what we get.
Same error.
That's not good. All right. If you're watching us on YouTube and you can't see this, please switch to Twitch. You'll find us on Twitch. That's not good. Do I turn it off and turn it back on again?
Sure.
I don't know. What's your IP address?
I'm not playing Avengers. You'll never be able to tell.
My playback ID is IR. No.
All right, please restart your broadcast to apply the changes. Okay, so it didn't do anything like turning it on and off. And we're not restarting this recording for YouTube.
Yeah, we're good. I close.
Keep
YouTube.
trucking, keep trucking, baby.
Okay,
All right, Brant,
so
back to the heist. Back to the heist story.
Yeah. Ocho Cinco. Finish it up, man.
So he would sit there and order things, trying to find loopholes. And what he found was they wouldn't send him things like laptops or anything like that, but gift cards. The Xbox gift cards were another story. And so he continuously bought these and then would sell them for cryptocurrency. So he got them in increments from 10 to 100. He had stolen more than 152,000 gift cards
Woo!
worth $10.1 million.
Ooh.
And he was living on, let's see, he bought a 7-figure lakefront home,
As one does.
with plans to buy a ski chalet, a yacht, a seaplane. But now he was of course caught, and he was sentenced to 9 years in prison.
Is it worth the gamble? 9 years is not that long. Is it worth the
So
gamble?
you actually go to prison, then 9 years is an eternity.
Yeah, but if you
Yeah.
got off with it, you could have had all the lakefront property and evereverything else.
It's like
And-
it's like you telling me like us going from like first grade to 12th grade is not an eternity. That was a freaking eternity.
It's a long time.
And his only real defense was that gift cards basically aren't real money. But we all know that's, I mean, it technically you paid money for it. It's got that value tied to it. So that's a pretty weak defense. But the fact that he was able to get that far with it and got over 10 million, it's pretty insane.
I love it.
in GTA 5 online plus.
He got them shark cards.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a true high story. All right, live update on Resistance burning skies for PlayStation Vita. I see you
You almost
guys.
said Burning Man, didn't you?
Nope, I see you guys. I wanted to say Falling Skies, though, the alien thing. I see you guys copies, and I raise you.
Why do you have
Multiplayer.
two?
It's multiplayer, man.
One of them's an empty case. I have no clue why. I only have one copy, legit copy.
The other copy's in your Vita. It stays in
It
there
never-
because
it
you
never
love
leaves,
the game
yeah.
that much.
I have a dedicated Resistance Burning
You put
Skies
some-
Vita.
You put some super glue on the back of the card and stuck it in there. That you're like, I love this game so much, it's never leaving.
Somebody's
this thing.
tapping that hinge like it's never coming out. I guess I'll play more Resistance. Fine. Oh man, that's good stuff. All right, Ghost of Tsushima. We already got a PlayStation 5 update, which cut down on load times. And did it do anything else?
No, it's just the game boosted mode, which I think was like 60 frames per second.
Right, like a PlayStation,
Slightly shorter.
like a PlayStation
load time.
4 Pro Plus version, right?
Yeah.
Whatever their equivalent of the smart delivery was, the Xbox does. That's what they call it, game boost.
That's right.
But not everybody takes advantage of it though.
So we are officially getting. Was leaked by. We saw it on the store somewhere. Didn't somebody have it available for pre-order, like Australian
It was
PSN?
rated in like Korea or something like
That's
that.
it.
Yeah.
So they came out with a blog
Oh no,
post.
it was ESRB rated, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think it was ESRB rated. Yeah.
They came out with a blog post. Ghost of Tsushima Director's Cut for PS5 and PS4 will launch August 20th. It's going to cost $70 on PS5 and $60 on PS4. All right, here's where it gets dicey. Bear with me.
Yes, path to victory. Let's go. Dicey
This
path to victory.
is the path to victory. It's more like, it's less like Napoleon and more like D-Day. So here we go. The users who purchase the PlayStation 4 version will be able to upgrade to the PS5 version for $9.99. And users who already own Ghost of Tsushima for PS4 will be able to upgrade to the PS4 version of the Director's Cut for $19.99, or the PlayStation 5 version for $29.99. That is quite the path to victory there. There's a weird way to transfer your progress. So you need to, if you already own Ghost of Tsushima on PlayStation 4, you'll be able to transfer your save to PS5 to pick up where you left off. For new players, the new Iki Island content will be available beginning in Act 2 of Ghost of Tsushima after you've made your way to the Toyotama region.
Brand, this is what I live for. I got the platinum already for the PS4 one. Now I'm gonna sit there for 5 minutes as every trophy unlocks as I move my save over. That's what happened when I did Final Fantasy 7. I was like, ding, ding. I was like, oh my god.
That's all you have to do.
I had to wait, just sit there and just let it load.
All right, it comes with other stuff. What else does it come with? It's like extra maps or something, isn't it? Transferring your progress. PS5 exclusives. While Director's Cut players on both PS4 and PS5 will be able to experience the new Iki Island content, PlayStation 5 players will have access to a few additional new features. We've heard your feedback about the lack of Japanese lip sync in the original version of Ghost of Tsushima, and it's something we worked hard to address in this new release. Thanks to the PS5's ability to render cinematics in real time, cutscenes in Ghost of Tsushima and on Iki Island on PS5 will offer lip sync for Japanese voiceover. We're also happy to confirm that Ghost of Tsushima Legends, and the new Iki Island expansion will all take advantage of haptic feedback and adaptive triggers in the Director's Cut. There will also be enhancements to 3D audio on PlayStation 5, as well as drastically improved load times, 4K resolution options, and frame rates targeting 60 frames per second. So that for sure seems to be the way to go with this one. If you have a PlayStation 5, still not a huge amount of people.
What do we got left? What we got left? God of War. Last of Us Part 2. What's left?
Yeah, and God of War's it's in that PlayStation 5 Instant Collection. So
Mhm.
And his game boosted as well.
how would that work? Would they just throw the update in there at this point?
I don't know. Maybe pay the $10 entrance fee to get all the haptic feedback. I guess it depends how much work they put on there. Because clearly the Ghost of Tsushima, they put in a lot more work. Because I mean, that's
Right.
They say director's cut, but it's an expansion in there. You get a whole new area. So
they made a badass PS4 game, right? Then they made a awesome PlayStation 5 boosted game, which everyone seemed to enjoy the additions to that. And now we have this director's cut, which players on PS4 and PS5 get to enjoy. So that's win-win. But the path to victory is confusing. But once you pick your path, it's pretty clear, right?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right.
It's not like the Ouya.
I skipped over the Iki Island stuff. If you're a history buff, you may know that in addition to Tsushima, the neighboring island of Iki was also invaded during this time period. Today, we're excited to reveal that a whole new chapter in Jin's journey is coming and will take place on Iki. In this new story, Jin travels to the island to investigate rumors of a Mongol presence. But soon he finds himself caught up in events with deeply personal stakes that will force him to relive some traumatic moments from his past. And there's new animals to pet that they note in this PlayStation blog.
Monkeys.
All right, Ghost of Tsushima, director's cut coming this way. What was the date?
August something. Wait for it. August 20th.
All right, August 20th. 2 months after that, August 8th, we get the new Nintendo Switch model. Who wants to fill us in on that?
October 8th, sir.
October 8th. What'd I say?
So it's a day of dread.
August 8th.
September 8th.
August.
Said a month later.
2 months later. 2 months later.
Yeah. Or did he say August again?
On October 8th.
I don't know.
October.
October. The date is October.
Oh. So
is this the Switch Pro, Brant? Am I pre-ordering a Switch Pro for October 8th?
So Nintendo just kind of out of nowhere shadow dropped this on us 2 days ago now?
Yeah.
A day ago? A day? Yes.
Yesterday.
He's a day.
It might have been today.
Daylight comes.
Brant, it's October. Brant, October.
It's October. So, the trailer is actually interesting. It's it shows everybody playing this new variant of Nintendo Switch. They show this white JoyCons, this white dock. They show them, of course, playing all these new upcoming games like Metroid Dread, the Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes, Breath of the Wild 2. And they kind of, have the little features come up as far as those go. They've upgraded the screen to a 7-inch OLED display. You've got, the built-in LAN port in the dock now.
LAN parties.
So you can, yes, have LAN parties, and you no longer have to buy that as a separate piece for your Switch. They did upgrade the internal storage from 32 to 64 gigabytes. The tabletop mode users will be pleasantly surprised to find that they've completely redesigned the kickstand, which has been needed from day one for the Switch.
All right, quick poll here. Does anybody play tabletop?
Every now and then. I mean, it actually not for obviously year and a half now.
Yeah, I think I'm 3 years deep. I played Metal Slug 3, the Arcade Archives one, and I played NBA Playgrounds, the first one, and I've never done... That was on someone else's Switch. I've never personally done tabletop. Have you, Cesar?
Tabletop tennis.
I'll take that as a no. Every time I've played Switch with Cesar, we have been on the TV.
But they've redesigned, and I've heard several people refer to this new kickstand as Surface-like for the Microsoft Surface tablets.
That thing has a good hinge on it.
Yeah, it's a solid piece that goes all along that bottom side, and it has multiple angles that you can adjust.
And we lose the USB port too, so.
Yeah, I was about to say they did take that USB port out for that LAN adapter.
Oh hell!
And they didn't really say how, but they do say that for tabletop it does have enhanced audio. I thought the audio was decent as far as handheld went.
It's like new
for the
speakers
Switch.
or something in it, right? Like
But
front facing.
I'm guessing that
Pseudo Dolby Digital.
they've done something with the speakers.
Pseudo Dolby
Maybe.
Digital. Dolby Stereo. True Dolby Stereo audio.
It's going to have two different variants. Of course, the white version that I was talking about with the white Joy-Cons, and then a black version with the neon blue and red that we're used to. They've kind of changed the way that the retail box looks now. It's not horizontal; it's more of a vertical.
Yeah. This
new model will be $350. Now let's talk about the fact that they really, aside from that, they haven't changed anything. It's the same chipset. It's the same internal CPU, RAM. No 4K upscaling, nothing like that. It seems like a lot of people were kind of disappointed, and also being like, this is Nintendo. This is kind of what they do.
Right.
So
they've never done a mid-tier, a mid-cycle refresh on the scale of like an Xbox One X or a PS4 Pro.
See, I would argue the fact that when they brought out the new Nintendo 3DS,
right,
that was actually a somewhat decent upgrade.
It was, but you only got like 3 advantages out of it. It wasn't like a platform. It wasn't a platform thing that the titles were separated by. So just about every other PS4 game had like a base mode, and then it had a pro version.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, even with that new Nintendo 3DS, there were some games that performed better. There's some games that can only run on that Nintendo 3DS, the new Nintendo 3DS.
I think that's what I would argue. That was such a small percentage. It was like Xenoblade, basically Fire Emblem.
Yeah.
It was the old school like Super Nintendo games, which how could that not run on the... And then there was one other title that was a new 3DS exclusive.
Hyrule Warriors.
Hyrule Warriors, it ran best.
Is that what I meant by Fire Emblem Warriors?
3D or something like that. I think you only do 3D on there.
Yeah. So it wasn't a substantial part of the library. You weren't missing out on like Luigi's Mansion, Dark Moon, or it didn't get a boost or anything like that.
And that's the thing, is you weren't missing out, but it did add performance to the overall system, because
for 3 titles, though.
Yeah. But I mean, right now we've only got there's several titles on the Switch right now that, I mean, Doom runs pretty choppy.
It does. The version I played and beat.
Age of Calamity will dip down pretty low sometimes when the screen gets pretty intense.
I heard that one gets rough.
Yeah, it'll dip into single digits as far as frame rate sometimes.
Ooh.
Yeah, it gets really choppy if you get too much going on. And that's why a lot of these games that we're seeing go to cloud game,
Yeah.
As far as
so that it's not running on native hardware.
Yeah. Control, Plague's Tale, what else came that was...
Didn't Japan get like Assassin's Creed and Resident Evil?
Yeah.
You forgot one, Richard. I guess the most important one would be, I didn't mean to interrupt, would be Minecraft. Only runs on Nintendo 3DS.
Who could forget?
It's the one all the young kids want, man. Still top seller to this day.
That Xbox Game Studio title for new 3DS.
That one game would move 3DS systems.
That's true.
Alone, I'm sure.
It could.
And believe it or not, it's actually hard to find now. It's up to almost $60 new. So
really, that Minecraft.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They didn't keep publishing
that
it?
Retail SKU. Guess not.
Wow.
It says on there only for new Nintendo 3DS.
I still have 0 minutes logged in a Minecraft title.
So I mean, a lot of people are just kind of I saw some people like really upset. I've seen some people just like, yeah, it's not as exciting. I'm still gonna get it. But I know for myself, I don't know about you gentlemen, I'm probably gonna pass on this.
Yeah.
I would assume Cesar's probably gonna get it.
Believe it or not, I thought about this, and I talked with a coworker at work today, and he felt the same way as me. It's not for me.
Yeah.
Whenever I talk to you guys, how often do I talk about playing my Switch Portable?
Yeah.
Never.
So I mean, what would be the whole point? I mean, I would stay dock, so I might as well just use what I got docked. There's no hardware enhancements, so. But then again, I'm me, so it depends. I'm not gonna sit there and pre-order, but if I happen to come across it, and I'm like, fuck it, I might do it. But you know,
somebody beat me to the punch. They said Switch on an OLED, and they took a picture of their LG CX OLED. I was like, damn it, I could have done that.
but also to add to what Brand said, so you know, some studios were leaking online. A survey they took from Nintendo sent a survey to third-party developers asking what they felt if they came out with a Switch Pro.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of them were honest with them and begged them not to do it. They said, please don't do it. Don't divide the market.
Wow.
And this was before they did this announcement. They were like, please don't do this. This is a huge mistake. You're going to go into obscurity like the new 3DS with a lot of features that are never going to get used. And then you had the comments from Doug Bowser, who talked about, you know, they're always looking at new hardware, that the new hardware they might be the next iteration. There's a lot of new stuff coming out with the SoC on these chipsets, including double the RAM, a lot of stuff. The way it made it sound like was that they might skip the whole Pro thing and just go to a next gen Switch. So
like a fully backwards compatible one using the same Tegra type stuff. That would be awesome.
Seems like when I think the people who are doing Baldur's Gate 3 leaked out that survey, and they basically told them, like, hey, we told them, like, hey, just do new hardware. Please don't do this half step.
Wow.
They felt it was going to affect their sales. They begged them, don't do it.
Wow.
So, but Nintendo did send something out to to those developers, asked what they thought about it, and they said a lot of the feedback they were hearing was that they didn't want that Pro half step. So
this Verge article notes that Switch lifetime sales are at 84.59 million since it launched in 2017. So they're not really needing to do, you know, it's not that mid-cycle refresh that Xbox and PlayStation kind of got forced into. It feels like that looking back, maybe I didn't need to upgrade, but you know, it is what it is. It was the best place to play those at the time, but it wasn't mandatory, you know. I still know plenty of people with those standard PS4s. They don't have the Slims or a Pro or anything. They're just rocking that same angular launch PS4. And Xbox One. I know plenty of people with the VCR Xbox One still playing Call of Duty every night and Apex and everything else that comes out that they want to play. So it's not necessary.
But yeah. At the end of the day, that's a very big indie machine. So there's nothing on there pushing where they need a hardware upgrade yet. I mean,
that too.
Once we get to that part where game engines require it,
that too,
then it might be time for them to do something. But by then I mean, if they're going to invest in that type of technology and use that same architecture, it'd be best to wait anyways. It's still new.
And I would argue that you're not playing except for me playing Doom, you're not going to play your top tier graphical showcase games on Switch, right? Unless that's your primary platform, I guess, which is why those games are there. But Nintendo's going to tailor their titles to that. Like Skyward Sword comes out, was it next week or the week after? That's going to look amazing on whichever Switch you have without an OLED before this even comes out. That game is going to look phenomenal, and it's going to play phenomenal. Just like Bowser's Fury. We just had Mario 3D World and Bowser Fury, and it looks and plays fantastically on that platform.
My argument would be the real game changers, if you want to use that same thing, is go cloud-based and then integrate some 5G in there. So
that would be... I would argue, I don't know, because they didn't upgrade the internals. The OLED is still like the handheld, you know, push. So that would have lent towards the handheld push, in my opinion.
Yeah,
that would have been the obvious answer.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I mean, if you're going to promote where people are standing 50-50 on that console, where they lease them at home and then lease them on the go,
right? And
you want to get the best looking games that you, even then you get another hardware one, it's probably not going to look as good as a Series X or R5. So let's be honest. But hey, pop in 5G. That way people can play those type of games on the go, man.
If you had
Then
an OLED,
you'll still have people groaning, just like, do you remember the Vita, the announcement of the Vita? And they announced that partnering with AT&T with 3G capability.
ASNS.
Yeah. And people just I remember that was the only part of the presentation people like audibly groaned when they were talking about that.
You got to remember, we're in a different cell phone market. All that stuff is locked behind cellular providers.
Yeah.
We have unlocked phones now. That was unheard of before. So I mean, we're in a whole completely different market now when it comes to cell phones.
What year did the Vita come out?
2012.
Yeah.
You're talking almost 10 years ago. You've had that whole infrastructure change and everything. Because wasn't that Vita, wasn't it like a Wi-Fi /3G? It wasn't even a 4G one? Yeah. Did we get that one, Cesar, when we jumped at launch?
It's the one I got. I got the 3G one.
That's what I have.
Yeah. I think I got that one too.
Because I think the Wi-Fi one was like $20 cheaper or something like that.
Yeah, I think I got the one.
I think I just went ahead and just got the 3G one.
Does
just
it
in case.
still work? Can you put a SIM card in that bad boy?
Probably not.
There's no modern SIM card that'll fit in there. I think they discontinued the SIM cards that were in there. So because they discontinue those for security risks. So
yeah,
as the technology grows up. So
right, those are hackable and moddable and everything else. All right, so that's your new Nintendo Switch, which is just called Nintendo Switch OLED model. It's kind of a garbage name. Do you have those Nintendo Switch OLED models in stock?
They actually did announce, if you did just like the dock, that you can buy the dock, either just the white one or the black model from the Nintendo website once they are available.
Did they say how much those were going to be?
They haven't said yet, but they did say,
$100.
Yeah, I would imagine it's the ones that they sell right now are like, what, 60 or 70 or something like that?
I think they were originally $100. They might have dropped the price, but originally they were $100 because everybody was bitching about, like, why would I spend $100 on the dock? So,
and they do not come with any kind of HDMI cable, no power cable, nothing. So, but this Switch will work in any dock that you've got right now for your Switch, and vice versa. If you get a brand new dock, your old Switch will work in that.
Which I could see the Smash Fanatics, I can see them getting the new dock for the LAN capability. Maybe instead of getting the adapter. I've got that third-party dock somewhere, but I've got 2 official docks, so I don't know. This isn't for me. Daniel Ahmad on Twitter was pointing out that it's an upgrade path, a path to victory, if you will, Cesar, for the Switch Lite people. Someone who does want that console type experience for that. You know, they got the Switch Lite, they got in that ecosystem, $200. Now they can get the full one and jump from there. But for the 3 of us who've been there since day one, yeah, I'm kind of scratching my head on this one too.
Cesar, didn't you buy a Switch Lite to have one just to kind of take back and forth rather than take the one out of the dock all the time?
I have the Switch Lite just for when I leave home, and then I have one in the dock. So that's just...
And that one's nice. The Switch Lite is pretty cool. I honestly...
That's why I have...
After this
night for me, because...
After this announcement, looking at $200 for the Switch Lite or $350 for the OLED one, that Switch Lite looks pretty damn good in my opinion for $200 with the built-in controller and the actual D-pad.
I'm sure those OLED screens will look great. I'll give you that much, but I don't know if it's enough to deter me to do a day one purchase. I'm not gonna rule out the whole point that I may purchase one. I just don't know if I'll day one it. So.
Yeah, I think both of you already have OLED TVs. I mean, right?
I think you lose a little bit on the, like, I tried so hard. Looking at the Vitas, I had some game pulled up on the OLED Vita and the LED one after that. Or was it LCD? And
LCD,
yeah. I'm looking at the two, and it was tough, man. It was tough to tell, like, I don't think it was worth the... It's not $350 in this case, but I don't think it was worth, you know, if you had 2 Vitas sitting next to you and it was a $50 or $100 difference, I wouldn't say, hey, let's go with the OLED one. That refresh of the Vita they did, that screen looked really damn good too. So I don't know how well that shrinks down in that screen. Time will tell. I mean, Digital Foundry and The Verge and everybody else will get out there with their reviews and comparison shots and all that. So we'll be able to see some of these and see how drastic it is.
And the last thing I'll add on there is everybody's favorite Xbox kissing analyst Jeff Grubb said that lined up with what he said anyways. So they were going to do this OLED one this year, and then this whatever their Pro version, he put in quotations, their Pro version will be next year. That's what he was hearing to begin with. I think he tweeted that early June or something like that, and he just went back and retweeted. He's like, "That's what I always heard." And
hopefully, it's that
the route
Tegra
they
you were
went on
talking
there.
about. That Tegra upgrade. That is a substantial upgrade, not just.
That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying it'll be next year. So that's what he had heard. It was outside of whatever Bloomberg was reporting. So
it's the same Joy-Cons like Brant mentioned. It's the same technology. So if the drift has occurred to you, it still could occur on these. On the ones that come with this one.
Twitter, that's what most people were complaining about. They were like, "What about the Joy-Cons?" Yeah. That was most people were concerned about. Because like even with Renee, he's on his fourth set of Joy-Cons. They just keep drifting on him.
What is he doing to it? I haven't had them happen to me, but that's knock on wood.
I don't know. He's almost done with that whole Switch thing. He's had it with it. He said he's tired of just. I mean, he bought a warranty to switch him out all the time. And my coworker at work, he sent his in because it was drifting, got it back, and it's drifting again. And he's fed up with it. And he's been buying Nintendo all his life. And he's like, no. It's like, I just wanted to work.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm not buying. He's like, they want me to buy another controller. I'm not going to do it. Because he's like, I think it fell out the warranty or something like that. And they were giving him hell.
Have y'all
about getting it fixed again?
Have y'all had Joy-Con drift on anything? Knock on wood.
I've fixed a few. I've had my Switch. Gosh.
Nearly day one, right?
It was a few months after it launched.
Right.
Didn't you help me find that one? I think you did help me find the one I got.
Cool.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't remember this, but cool.
But I got it, and I haven't had a problem out of any of. I will take that back. I've had a problem, but it's not out of the Joy-Cons. The little LED light, the indicator light on the side of one of my Joy-Cons, and it's not even the Joy-Cons that came with my system. It's a Joy-Cons I bought separately.
Other ones you bought?
Yeah. It's one of the indicator lights is out for some reason. But other than that, I've never had drift problems. I bought my son a Switch Lite. And probably 4 or 5 months after he had it, he started having drift with one of the. But it was actually a pretty easy fix for that one, and he hasn't had a problem since.
What'd you have to do to it, just in case anybody is?
On the Switch Lights, what you can do is completely power it down and just get a Q-tip and soak it in rubbing alcohol for a second. And you lift up that little skirt that's on the bottom of the stick, and you just kind of put that Q-tip in there, and just, it gets some of that isopropyl alcohol in there.
Yeah. And that's enough?
Yeah, and you work the stick around for a little bit, and you can turn it back on. And sometimes it's just a piece of dust or, tiny piece of particulate or something gets down in there and screws it up. And that's, I guess, all that happened to his, because otherwise you've got to take it apart and replace the stick. And I've done it on individual Joy-Cons, but I don't want to do it on the Lite.
I had to do it on my Pro controller. I had to open it up, clean it out. It's just
on the
something
Pro
with
controller?
Yeah, it's something with, if you let dust and dirt get in there, because I left it out in a corner or something like that, and I forgot about it, and I got back until it was caked with dust. Ooh. And I tried to play something.
Wow.
And dust got in there. Something with the analog where it sits on there, it screws up that sensor in there.
It's the same one as the Joy-Cons, right? That same stick?
Mm-hmm.
I need to remember that, because I have two Pro controllers that I'm using currently.
So I ended up buying like an actual official controller case and throw my Pro controllers in there, like a hard case, and just keep dust out of them. So I haven't had issues since then.
I might do the same.
Do the same thing with my Joy-Cons. I just throw them in like a case to just keep dust out of it. I think that's all it is dust and dirt gets in there and jacks it up. They're sensitive. They're like Mr. Glass. They just break easily. They're like
And
some
see,
NBA football player.
I've thrown those dang JoyCons in. I've been, I'll wear some cargo
Thrown them?
pants, throw the Switch in one side of the pocket and JoyCons in the other pocket, and they're just rattling around in there.
Oh.
And take them out, play, put them back, and run around. And I've never had a problem.
You need
never.
jeans with longer pockets. That way you don't have to separate
Yeah.
the two.
Break out the old JoyCons if I hadn't
JoyCons.
got rid of them. Used to have some.
You had some, Brant?
I had some JoyCons. I was a JoyCon person. Those weird ass.
I'd pay money to see this.
Not-
I'd pay money
Not
to see
shorts. I can find you a picture after the
Not
podcast.
short.
this. That's what we're talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what you're here for. This is the content you crave. All right. That's all for the new Nintendo Switch OLED model. Parentheses, OLED model. This is our new podcast. Parentheses, OLED model. Assassin's Creed Infinity, not to be confused with Halo Infinite. Who wants to tell us about the new direction of Assassin's Creed games from Ubisoft? First revealed by Jason Schreier, later confirmed via a blog post, and then reported on by The Verge.
I didn't read it, so I'm just gonna read off here and tell you. So, because I think I got the gist of it, and I lost interest, and I didn't pay attention to whatever it was talking about. So, apparently they're blah blah blah. They're looking at combining. Two studios are working together on the next Assassin's Creed games, Montreal and Quebec City. It's supposed to be a live game where it undergoes changes, I guess, similar to like Destiny. I think they said they were going to swap out maybe. They're still trying to figure out. They said there could be smaller games in there. I think they had on there, swapping out in between.
They said Fortnite or GTA Online, sir.
Involving,
Not like Destiny.
Well, they said the online game. It's the same thing. It's a live service, so
they just want it to be compared to Fortnite.
But whatever. And they call it, the code name is Infinity. I think this is what they're gonna Assassin's Creed looking at what every 1 or 2 or it's 3 years, right? I think that's what they said was in 3 years is what they were hoping to get it off on.
Yeah.
They said this may change. They don't know yet. It's just kind of something they're looking into right now. And then they went on to say that there's some shufflement in their employees there. A lot of them had some sexual misconduct allegations, but apparently a lot of those people were still there in some capacity making this game. So I think they were reviewed by a third party, and then some of them were exonerated, and whatever disciplinary actions they said they were appropriate and underwent it. But I guess they're still technically working there. So,
Right.
But yeah, outside of that, it's just a series of Assassin's Creed just moving to live base. That's all it is.
So like Ghost Recon or some of their other.
As Brant pointed
titles.
out, they put Fortnite and GTA Online as their games that they're shooting for. So
yeah, they're basically just the way you think of a typical Assassin's Creed is probably not how it's going to be anymore. They're just more typical live service deal.
I always preferred the story-based Assassin's Creed games. The way that the recent ones have been moving, they've been moving more towards gameplay, and some people just like that gameplay, and I guess they're just going to carry that gameplay into however this live series is going to be. So
yeah,
I think that's what they're shooting for, and they're just hoping people will come with it. So, I mean, to be honest, they haven't effectively told a good overall arching story in Assassin's Creed. It's turned more and more into like a Call of Duty-esque, where it does like whatever their campaign is for that year, and sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's and sometimes it's bad.
I've watched you fall off over the years and not be as interested in it as you were, as they went in that direction.
I haven't played the last two at all, even though a lot of people praise Valhalla. It's the best they've done of the recent ones, but I enjoyed Origins for what it was, but I enjoyed more of the story. But Odyssey story started out too slow and it didn't pull me in. But then most people would argue that they played Odyssey for the gameplay. So I don't know, whatever. I still got the Ezio trilogy, so I can pump that every so often.
I was about to say those are probably my favorite of the story. So
and luckily those are available almost on everything. So
I always go back to this when there's some major change where something like this is talked about. Like those are still out there, and if they're The three of us are a different use case because we're going to have those games. We're going to have the platforms to play them on. But, if they're not playable on something new, then that's when it becomes an issue. Or if they're not obtainable on, I know they're on Steam. I know they're on, did we get those on PlayStation 4? Did they come as a
remaster?
And
they're on
Xbox
the Xbox
as well,
One.
that's right.
I think the only one we missed out on is Switch, because I think they only got that Rebel trilogy, and they got everything but the Ezio one for whatever reason. But I wouldn't be surprised if that eventually comes out later down the road. So
there it is, Ezio collection, PS4. Is it sealed, Brant? Open it up, you coward. Play it. Mine is too. Mine is sealed.
Yeah.
Next up, your games that are coming to Game Pass and PlayStation Now. The Game Pass games are kind of weak, I would admit. This comes from the Xbox Wire and Megan Spur. Let me reload my link. It's not there. Because all I see is Blood Roots, Farming Simulator 19, UFC 4, and more.
Scroll down. I thought I fixed this link, and then somehow it got back to the original.
Much better. On cloud, you're going to get the medium. Also on cloud, you're going to get Dragon Quest Builders 2. On console, you're going to get UFC 4, and then there's Blood Roots for all, Tropico 6 for all, and Farming Simulator 19 for all. There's some dates attached to that. I don't think we have to get that far in the weeds. Kind of upset about the medium, because that was like the de facto Series X launch.
Yeah.
Series XS launch title that has now come to everything, so that sort of...
But at least now you can continue your Tropico playthroughs from all those games will go from the Tropico.
That's it. I've been carrying my character over for like 700 hours maybe. Like I've taken over 12 island nations at this point.
With
Castro.
Whatever that's supposed to be, Fidel Castro, whatever the version.
All my islands are still driving cars from the 50s and keeping them up and maintained.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's Tropico in a nutshell to me. It's probably way deeper than that, but it looks like a
it's like a reject Castro
like
in
a
there.
Dictator simulator.
Yeah.
A Plague Tale Innocence is getting its update this next. I know it's available now.
It should be out now.
It's Astroneer update, Black Desert, Destiny 2. There's some Destiny 2 event coming up, but I'm really not interested in that. Doom Eternal Series X and S update is available now. Gears 5 Operation 7 is available. Greedfall Series X and S update is available. Rainbow Six Siege Year 6 Season 2 North Star, of course. Zombie Army 4 DLC is available now. And Fallout 76 Steel Rain update is July 7th. So the day we are recording this. If you have Game Pass Ultimate, you also get a first look, I guess it is, with Space Jam: A New Legacy, the game. Play it first with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. And I think that's it, right?
Down at the very bottom, your game's leaving will be July 14th. These are via EA Play.
Which is weird. This is just weird, but go ahead. Like, why is this leaving EA Play?
UFC and UFC 2 on console.
Get those versions in while you can.
And then July 15th, the first two are PC-only titles, Endless Space 2 and Downwell. And then Crosscode is leaving as well, and that is for cloud, console, and PC.
I think Crosscode is the biggest one out of those that's leaving.
Yeah.
I wonder how that arrangement works, I guess it's going to be you agree for it to be on the service for so long, kind of like Netflix. I introduced the kids to Hook today, the Dustin Hoffman, Robin Williams classic, and it said...
Bad form. Bad form.
Peter.
Bad form.
And then at the end, he's like, good form. Finish me with dignity. You've taken my dignity. Give me my hair. And it said, as we're watching it, it says leaving Netflix July 31st, I think it was, for Hook. So I was like, how is this? I guess they rotate. It's a built-in FOMO or like a built-in, can't miss this while it's in there, so...
So to clarify, I clicked on the link at the bottom. So it says it right there. Those EA Play games are about to be delisted.
So they're gone forever.
Ah.
So, and I click on the link for what a delisted means, and it's a playlist removal, and these are all games that are no longer in service. That's why it's being removed.
I can think of 2 other games that are also affected by this. Just these 2.
So what's crazy? I'm going down this list, and it's like all sports games outside of the UFC ones that are coming out soon. Right. That's which you can consider as a sports game as well. The glaring one is Need for Speed Hot Pursuit on Steam, which will be removed August 20th, 2021. And
which
then the sad
the PS1 one.
It just says Need for Speed Hot Pursuit will be removed from Steam. Steam
is that
only.
The newest? So. Is that the one they remaster and they're taking away the
so.
original?
Wow.
They're taking it away from Steam. Yeah. And then Shadows of the Damned was delisted February 16th, 2021. It's no longer available on Xbox One or Xbox Series X or S, according to the
What's the reason for that? Does the physical disc still work?
Doesn't say. You should, yeah.
All hail physical copies. Even though Xbox has weird DRM with their stuff, you can at least still pop that in. Damn.
But that should answer your EA Play removals.
I think it's SR, so it's the weird sports games for some reason being delisted. That's why they're going down. At least it's not like Dead Space or Mass Effect or Need for Speed or something.
Yeah, I think they're only. Well, I don't know why they removed Shadow of the Dam, but everything else seems to. Looks like the reason they gave that playlist is most of that stuff is just multiplayer, is why they're delisting it.
Shadows of the Damned is interesting. We need to watch that one. And that's been since February?
But it could. Yeah, but I think it could just because they used. Originally, that game was published through EA's third party. When they were doing all that EA publishing back in PS3 and 360 days, when they're doing it as a third party for certain games. And it's probably because those rights reverted back to Suda51 and Grasshopper manufacturing. That's probably
now it's up to them
because that's their game. EA doesn't own that game, so.
Gotcha. All right.
So I'm assuming that Suda got the rights back, and he's been trying to get the rights back to all his games so he can re-release a lot of them.
So maybe that's a good sign that leaving that side of preservation and possibly going to another one, right? Maybe a remaster of sorts or a re-release digitally.
Still waiting on Killer 7, man. They only got it on PC.
I remember we had that. Well, we had that in my store on GameCube for years and years and years, and I wasn't interested in it whatsoever. And now it's so hard to find.
You get the PC one super cheap. It's like $7.99 or something like that. So.
That's around, I may actually own that. I may have given up one day and been like, sure, I'll get that one.
Surprised you don't have it. I got Killer 7
on GameCube. I haven't been hunting it recently. I missed a couple for like $30-$40 maybe a year ago, but I know GameCube stuff has just gone insane, so I don't even want to look.
But I bought that like used on our Rhino runs. So
Rhino runs. Hell, I might have it. Don't even know it. I know I don't have the case for it. That's it. No, we got PlayStation Now titles. These are some heavy hitters. Y'all ready? PlayStation Now.
It's the only one that's important. It's the only one that counts.
Red Dead Redemption 2.
Nope. The one I'm talking about has a Witcher involved.
Moving out.
Moving out.
God of War.
No.
Judgment.
Sure. No, that's actually a pretty good one, yeah.
NASCAR Heat 5.
I don't know who's on the cover. Who's that guy?
Looks like Jeff Gordon. It's not. It can't be Olympic Games, the official video game, Tokyo 2020.
Yes.
Starring The Witcher. It's Witcher time.
Starring The Witcher. Starring Geralt.
I don't know the last time I've been playing couch co-op, playing a video game, and someone says something, and I'm just like laid over in the floor. I can't even move.
Witcher
time. I still remember it. He didn't even know he said it. I'm laughing. I'm in the floor.
It was like 2 in the morning. I was tired.
I don't even know what happened. Brand, have you ever seen the clip?
Yeah.
Oh, God, Witcher time will live forever. And we still haven't had the official Olympics from the game that we played like a year and a half ago.
We played pre-pandemic, so 2019. When did they get it? Like December or something like that, because I ordered from Amazon Japan like right when it
I
came
bought
out.
that Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games when there was only one Switch model, I think. That was it. You could only play it on one Switch. Now there's like 4.
I can go into my Amazon account in Japan and tell you when I got it.
Because you imported that, right? This is a
I ordered
good
for
ass
Japan.
game. If you are looking for a good game with mini games that's better than Mario Party, get the Olympic Games, the official video game, Tokyo 2020. That is a guaranteed good time.
You gotta be careful. You're gonna anger friend of the show. You talk bad about Mario
That is
Party
okay.
like
That friend of the show has not appeared on the show in over 2 years. We are officially okay with dissing Mario Party. in lieu of Olympic Games, the official video game Tokyo 2020, which includes such titles as baseball, basketball. Is that basketball? Rugby, tennis. Tennis is where the Witcher time comes from, and it's a good game of tennis built in there. Boxing, there's various swimming events and BMX racing, amongst many more. Track and field was actually pretty entertaining. As me playing as the Witcher tried to run down Cesar, who was in the game. I'm in the game.
I'm in the game. Yeah. I received my copy July 9th, 2019.
Almost 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
How is it a year ahead of release? Is that right?
I'm looking at it. Was shipped to me.
We played it that long ago.
July 9th.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy. Look at the 2 years that have passed. How many updates have come to the game since then? Were they going to add some more events?
Yeah, like if I pop in my Japanese copies, it's like a huge, ridiculous update. But if you get the American ones, those are complete.
Oh.
So, or the Western ones actually. So they're all on disc.
Might have to get one of those. That's a good ass game. Is it online? Can we play online?
Yeah, we can play now. Yeah,
I might have to get this game.
Yeah. It's couch co-op and online. Yeah, remember because we played people in
That's
Japan.
right.
Remember, and we didn't know what was
right.
going on. It's like it's the mic on, and didn't know if we were talking shit about them. Remember? that was that same night too. Because you're over there joking like they're probably looking at like these motherfuckers here.
They're gonna destroy us. Oh, so we skipped over the major news except for Olympic Games. The official video game Tokyo 2020 is coming to PlayStation.
I will officially get some masking tape and put a 1 on there and just put it on there like a slash through, and then just put 2021.
You'll have the definitive version, the actual year.
The official one, but it's going to be masking tape with 1 on there, and then it's be on the cover.
So those are some huge titles there. Red Dead Redemption 2, Neo 2, Moving Out, God of War, Judgment.
Don't forget the Red Dead Redemption 2 is download only, no streaming.
Oh, you can't stream that one. It's too big, huh?
It could be something to do with their Stadia deal. I don't know.
Red Dead Redemption 2 is available on PlayStation Now until November 1st, 2021, exclusively via PS4, PS5 download. That is an important note. Thank you for pointing that out. And NASCAR Heat 5 starring Jeff, who I assume is Jeff Gordon in that Napa hat.
Actually, I take that back. I guess if they're streaming, most likely they'll... I mean, they can stream on console, but I guess the people that be affected be PC. Most of those people stream on PC for PS Now, so I guess they will prefer somebody to buy the PC copy at that point.
That's what that litigation's in there for.
Maybe.
Possible.
What was your dig at? I missed it.
Jeff Gordon. I don't know race car drivers, so I just pull out Jeff Gordon.
I tried, everyone. I tried. I apologize to our many fans who are race car fans. I tried. I'm sorry. I don't know who that is. I just made it up for
Brant, are you going to fill in our NASCAR coverage? Are you our NASCAR correspondent? No interest.
Have either of you ever been to a NASCAR
I
race?
actually
Never
have
been
to one. This guy in front of me was completely intoxicated and insisted on every single lap. You know, I mean, you've seen how big the track is, right? And how fast they're going. This gentleman insisted on standing up for every lap as the cars came by and pointing them in the correct direction and letting them know which way they needed to drive. So,
always turn left.
Extent of my NASCAR.
Now that I'm looking at the cover, it is Chase Elliott.
There we go.
Did you have to research that, or did you know that person by sight?
That's Google, sir.
Oh, you're not our NASCAR correspondent. Or did you just become our NASCAR correspondent by Googling it? Yeah,
oh,
look
no.
what you did.
He took
There's
the initiative.
NASCAR.
He took
There's
the initiative.
NASCAR on the Animal Crossing island now.
Here with our
I've introduced the
Animal
animals
Crossing and NASCAR
to
update
NASCAR.
is Brant McKee.
The furthest I would get was I would buy a NASCAR bed and then race car bed and then sleep in that. That's
Like
as far as
now?
I'll get.
The Tom Nook 500.
Yeah, sure. I'll put one in.
Brant,
here.
your
Let's
chair
drop-
says racer, so you're closer than the rest of us.
Yeah. I've been to several NASCAR races.
As an event or to experience the thrill of the speed, the need for speed.
race.
The need for speed, sir.
You did better than me. The closest I've been to a NASCAR race ever, it would be my copies of NASCAR 99 on PlayStation 1 and Days of Thunder, my 4K Blu-ray copy. So that's as far as I got.
I think my dad owned every NASCAR game there was from NASCAR, what was it, 96 through like 2003 or something.
I'm trying to see if I see my copy of NASCAR.
So that doesn't count. None of what you said counts.
Days of Thunder is a good ass movie. I don't care what anybody says.
What did the 4K treatment add to the experience? Please tell me.
Get 4K.
Left turns in 4K?
everything.
Are you
Yeah.
kidding me?
Boost mode, HDR.
Get to see John C. Reilly in 4K.
Oh,
Now it just needs to be on an OLED.
Cesar fucking broke me. Days of Thunder 4K and NASCAR 99 on PS1. That's it. We're all going. We're all going to the NASCAR race in Hampton.
Featuring Dante from Devil May Cry.
Right. I'm reliving my childhood in the 90s.
Okay, so the one I went to, besides the drunk dude telling the drivers which direction to drive in, there was tons of giveaways like outside the race. Like you had tons of promotions and free drinks and all kinds of stuff that you could, like bags and swag and all kinds of things. It might be worth going to see an experience. Cesar, let's go. I'm gonna take you to your first NASCAR race.
Tom Cruise gonna be there?
He
Is he
might
part
not
of
be
the
in 4K.
Sure.
Is he gonna bring Siri? That's the question.
That's all I know is just him arguing with Nicole Kidman. That's all I'm looking for when I go to a NASCAR race.
They've been doing it for 40 years. Why stop now? Keep arguing with Nicole Kidman.
I'll be that one guy pissing people off. I was like, where's Tom Cruise? This is not the way I remember it.
The 4K Blu-ray told me this would play out otherwise. All right, is that all of our news?
That's all the news.
Games played, let's go. I played the platform trifecta. So if I played a Nintendo platform, what game did I play? A Mario game.
Zelda game.
My oldest child and I took advantage of the holiday weekend, and she was obviously off school. I was off work, and we fired up. I was not in the mood for Cat Mario. It can be a little chaotic when we play, and there was only two of us wanting to play, so I was like, hey, we need to wait for your mom and your other sibling, and then we can play from there. And we settled on New Super Mario Brothers U Deluxe, the 2D version with the squirrel suit. We made it through the first world somehow. We died in the castle multiple times, but it was more... it wasn't really our skill level. It was more of like, okay, let's get all the coins. Or we jumped through the red ring. Now we need to get the 8 red coins that pop up after that. That's what killed us, really. Like, if we were just trying to play and just go from left to right, we probably would have been fine. But we ended up having a really good time. We're both playing with pro controllers that Cesar has now informed me I need to cover up so they don't get dust in them. And
that's just personal, you know. Brant's the other man. He's never had an issue with it. And he's throwing his through a landfill.
He's throwing his through a landfill. He had the system split up amongst like 4 pockets. He had the Switch. He had the stylus.
Yeah.
He had the 2 JoyCons.
Sometimes
he's over there
I'll
just
clean it.
He's just skipping in sand with them. He's like skipping rocks.
Sometimes I'll clean out the lint trap from the dryer and just like rub it all over the controller.
Sometimes you have to jack up your car and change a tire, and you need that little extra, like, was like 3/4 of an inch or so, and you just shove your Switch in there.
shove that thing
or
under
stack
there.
the Joy-Cons, and then the drift might come from that. All right, so I played. Let's skip to PlayStation. I played a PlayStation title. What did I play? What's a tentpole for PlayStation?
Croc.
It is
Brent, I
Croc.
didn't say Sega
Or
Saturn.
Gex.
I didn't say
Gex.
Sega Saturn.
Gex. Enter the Gecko.
I didn't say 3DO.
Battle Arena Toshinden.
Saturn also.
Klonoa.
Wii. Keep going, guys.
Silent Hill.
This is
Silent Hill
fun.
1.
That's actually pretty close. I wasn't playing on PlayStation 1. I was playing on PlayStation 5.
Dino Crisis 1.
Neither one of those is playable on PlayStation 5. There we go. We have a winner. I progressed a little bit further. Not a whole lot to talk about, but I got the hover boots. So there's a mechanic where you like fire up these boots and get this speed, and the level variety has changed again. Which this game is always something fresh. There's never like level after level after level that's just, like a wash, rinse, repeat type thing. It's always a variety. It's always something new. There's some new mechanic. I talked last week about being in that arena, and I'm usually not down for arena type things or like a horde type deal. And it was a blast. And I actually went back and played more of that. But this level has you. It's almost like an open world bit where you have these 3 temples, I think they're called, that you have to take out in order to progress the story. And I did one of them, and I'm working my way to the second one now. But it's kind of the world opens up. You've been in these linear defined type areas. Maybe the part with the Morts, that planet was a little bit more openish, but you still had some story bits that you were trying to do. But this definitely drives the story to these particular temples. So the first one, that guy Gary that I talked about a couple of weeks ago, the really zen like lizard dude, there's a bunch of those here. So there's a bunch of those monks that look like Gary, and actually Gary's in this universe. So it's just that game continues to climb my list. It's probably gonna be game of the year. Maybe go ahead and mark that down. But I'm having so much fun with that game, and I'm savoring like every level and all that stuff that comes along. So that's Ratchet and Clank.
About to say, isn't it a little bit early for Game of the Year?
I don't know. I mean, there's going to be heavy hitters in the fall, but this is special. I'm an old school gamer, so it scratches that like PS2, PS3 platformer itch. It has new features of this generation, and it just looks and plays perfectly. I feel like with this game, there has been no compromise on anything. You can't say the graphics aren't great. The story is subpar. The loading times are slow. I can't think of a knock on it. And in most games, you can have a knock or two, right? This one, and it may be length. I don't know. But I'm savoring it. So, but go ahead, Cesar.
Huh? No, I mean,
it's too early. It's July 7th.
I'm just laughing because there's a whole bit on Psych where they were like, you guys are out here solving the crime of the century. It's like, we're only 8 years into the year 2000, so I think I'm going to wait before I call it the crime of the century. We got another 90 years to go, buddy.
This is the game of the century. It's 2021. This is the game of the century. I'm calling it.
Yeah.
It's not that high.
Ignore those other 79 years coming.
It's not that high, but this is the reason we play video games, I feel like. This is not just like if you have a PS5 you need to own this, but you need to own a PS5 to play this. I had a friend of the show, Russell, over here, last weekend or like a week and a half ago, and he just played the intro and was panning around and looking and kind of played the right past the ceremony and the parade and all that kind of stuff. And he said he's been thinking about playing more of it since he left, and he doesn't have a PS5 yet, so that'll tell you the impact. And he has no Ratchet and Clank attachment. Like, I've tried just about all of them. And he has no attachment to the series whatsoever. And he was like, man, that game was good as hell. I want to play some more of that. All right, so that's my PlayStation franchise. What is my Xbox franchise?
Halo.
Played some Halo.
Oh, Iron Phoenix.
Could be that. Could be Fable. Let's talk Fable. So that's our prepare yourself for 2 hours of Fable talk.
Was it Otogi?
Otogi. Otogi 2. That game got expensive as
hell. Is that
hell.
a From Software game?
It is, by the way. It got expensive as shit, that second one especially. I don't have that one. It's expensive.
Let's keep talking. Oh man, I have both, man.
Hold on to them. They're expensive.
Yeah, because they're part From Software, and everybody's like, oh, From Software, oh, Elden Ring.
Right, they're trying to go back and get. Yeah, that might be what it is. It might be that effect. You never know. They're trying to go back and get those same games, right? Or the
like
makers of those games, their previous catalog.
I'm still sad that Elden Ring is not a sequel to Eternal Ring.
It is a sequel to Lord of the Rings, so it seems like. We had an episode title called Update on Tolkien Ring at some point. I played a little Halo. That was a good guess, an educated guess, as it were, by friends and listeners of the show, including Brant and Newsmaster Brant. You haven't been downgraded yet. I played some Halo. There's nothing to add there, but I did put significant amount of time into Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance on the Xbox via Xbox Game Pass. First off, what have you guys heard about this game? What is your temperature check on this game that you've heard or read or seen or anything like that? Just out of curiosity. And that's Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance for the Xbox, PlayStation, and PC.
I fired it up on the cloud and played a little bit on that. Yeah. So, in my web browser.
Okay. How far did you get into it?
In a PC. In a centralized location on the outside line.
Okay. I get that. Basically Alcatraz. Brant, have you gotten any sort of like temperature check or reviews or anything?
We should stop and talk about our favorite Alcatraz movies. I'll start first, The Rock.
I'll finish this conversation. The Rock. Go ahead, Brant. Brant seconded. I couldn't even finish it. Brant seconded it before I could finish.
Not Escape from Alcatraz with Clint Eastwood.
The Birdman of Alcatraz.
No, I've heard a few things about it, and I mean from what I hear, it's a pretty good game. I still don't know if it's one of those that I'm gonna pick up eventually or play eventually.
Right, but a Series X, we have to get you on Game Pass. What is it gonna take?
I've got well, hold on. Let's see. 1 month free trial right here.
Do you have a current gold subscription?
Yes.
Do. Okay, so if you activate Game Pass Ultimate, it will turn all your existing gold stuff into Ultimate months. Okay. So if you are good for gold for like 2 years out and you do the $1 thing, it will turn all those into Ultimate. If that's what you end up wanting to do. So you're not going to sacrifice those gold months. And this is the perfect Game Pass game in more ways than one. It is a good game, as you've heard. It is not a Dark Alliance game. This is not a sequel to the PS2, Xbox, GameCube series that we all played and loved. And that I played, earlier this year? Last year? It is not one of those. It is a lot more methodical. It is less action-based. Russell and I were playing this together, and he picked a dwarf character that's more of like a tank, go in there, hack and slash with an axe, that kind of thing. And
Do you have my axe? Did it say that in there?
He didn't. It didn't sound like that. That's Lord of the Rings. That's the previous conversation. that was from Elden Ring. That's an Elden Ring quote, Cesar. Via George R. R. Martin.
All right, my bad. Yeah.
But, so I'm an elf, so I'm like a ranger bow type person. I have very weak physical attack, that kind of thing. Totally opposite of him. And it took us a while to master. They don't really tell you the buttons or what does what. So it takes a while to figure out. Your specials are both mapped to the Y key, which is funky. Y key, why did I say that? Y button. So if you tap Y, you will put down a health thing that everybody who's in your party, and it was just the two of us, everybody's in your party that can join in that little umbrella and heal, or you hold down Y and it throws out spikes, and that will, so sorry, you muted yourself. He's fixing something. And that will like entangle the boss or whoever it is that you're trying to fight. It will keep them kind of in a local spot. And we had to figure out, like I was trying to shoot the bow, right? And I'm just tapping R. And I didn't realize that if you held back R, the trigger button, she drew back the bow, and that made that attack way more potent than what I was trying to do. So the first couple enemies we went up against, and he put the difficulty on normal, and the first couple enemies we went up against, it was just like, okay, how are you supposed to play this game? What is this game exactly? Because we like the lore, the cutscenes are really well done, the graphics are beautiful. There's some weird jank, like when your character, if you're going down some stairs, it's still almost like N64 era where you can turn your character to where their motion looks like they're going down the stairs, but you can stop them and they're not hovering on they're not on anything. They're just like hovering over the top of the stairs. And then, oh, this is the best glitch. I need to post this so that everybody can see it. We got to a point where when we died, after we respawned, it took about 20 seconds to load our assets in. So for me playing, I'm running around in first person, just like when me and Cesar broke Gears 5. So this is a third person action game, and I'm just running around in first person like, what's happening? And then I find Russell, and he's a dwarf, and he's only a pair of shorts. He's just a pair of shorts running around for like 20 seconds. And he's trying to attack enemies and all this kind of stuff. And I just see these shorts like in these offensive postures, and then like his dwarf can like roll out of the way, and he's like backing up. It's just, oh man, it had some stupid bits in it that had us rolling. But there's different tiers of enemies. You have these basic enemies, and then you'll have some that are it's very D&D-esque. He plays a lot of the actual Dungeons and Dragons, with rolling the die and everything. He does an online group, and he said the battles can play out very similarly to that, where you have a bunch of different elemental type things. Like there will be off to your left, there's like a sword that's on fire, and if you go close to it, you have a heightened fire element. And then if you shoot things with ice for that, while that timer is going to run out, you have heightened damage on the ice enemies, things like that. So there's some really cool things. You cannot run through it. It's not an action RPG like the Dark Alliance console versions are. It's not that game. I almost feel like this should have been called something else, because it's really good and it's being compared unfairly to those. And I'm having a blast with it co-op, but I might be the worst person to ask, because I'll play a garbage game co-op and have a really good time. Like that Olympics game might not be that good, but me and Cesar had a damn good time with it.
Yeah.
But he and I put 2 hours into it, and we beat the first act. The last boss was very cheap, because we got used to doing things a certain way, where he would roll in as the tank and just destroy with that dwarf, and I would hang back and shoot my arrows when I needed to, and kind of build up our specials as they went. So I mentioned having the two attributes on Y. So you have the health one, and then you have the spikes. But then as you build up another meter, which takes way too long, this is not a cooldown akin to a special move and maybe like a MOBA or something. This only filled up 3 times in our 2 hours of play. So that's not frequently to unleash this special that... And for my character, it was these arrows that, even at that, didn't do that much damage. So you're basically at the whim of that D&D rule set, it seems, where you'll get a critical if the elemental thing is way off, or if you're behind them. Like there would be times, my character had no melee skills, but there would be times where Russell had like dazed a character, and they would be sitting in the middle of the playing area, and I could get behind them and start kicking them, and I had no melee power whatsoever, and I was kicking them in the back with the same damage that my arrows were doing, my normal arrows that I was shooting in our normal tactics. So it
not even for the knee or anything
what's
like
that?
that. Not an arrow.
No
for
arrows
the knee?
were in the knee. Nobody was a soldier before they took an arrow in the knee. I was just like you. That's a good Skyrim reference. I'm waiting for the Skyrim skins to come to Dark Alliance. Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance.
I think sad thing is I still got 5 minutes total in Skyrim.
Oh, it's a good ass game. You need to stop everything and play Skyrim. It's good as hell.
I tried. I get to the part where I got to choose. I'm either a Jedi or a Sith, and then I was like, I don't know about this anymore.
That's not the right
and
game,
it's like,
sir.
all right. It's like you're the good guys.
Oh,
or
the
bad
Imperials
guys.
with the
I'm
red
like,
cloaks.
Okay. Whatever.
There you go, Jedi or Sith.
Riding in the cart. I was like, all right.
Just
I don't
pick
know
one.
what's
Who cares? It's your game. So we beat the first act of that, and that was the first bit of the map, and it seems like it's a huge game. I don't know how long this is. I haven't, like I said, I went in blind on this. I haven't read any temperature checks or reviews or anything, or heard any impressions, and it seems like it's going to be pretty lengthy because that took us 2 hours to beat that first part. When you beat a boss, and this may be more Dark Souls-esque if somebody's played any of those and can reference this, but when you beat one of the mini bosses or like one of the section bosses in the area, you get the option to either rest and heal and create a save point, or you get a loot bonus. So you can choose to get the better loot later on and forego that. But if you die, you're going to end up way the fuck back where you were. And we did that a couple times. And then we fought some bosses. I was like, dude, we're not doing the loot bonus. I don't care what they're going to try to give us. We need to fucking stop here, and this needs to be our save point. So we would stop at that point because it get to the point, if you die, everything respawns. And it's not an action adventure game in the aspect of like you can just run past everything. Everything respawns, and if you run past stuff, you're gonna get hit and you're gonna get messed up. You're not gonna get where you want to go in perfect condition. But you also don't want to fight everybody every time. So there's some give and take as far as that goes. There's plenty of player options. We're finding there's unlockables everywhere. Like you can find the first, I don't know if it's going to be in every level, but the first one had us finding dwarven mugs. So we had to find 8 of 8 dwarven mugs. And we didn't follow a guide or anything. We found those 8. So they were just hidden around like under bodies and, Uncharted style, like behind the cliffs and underneath a waterfall, that sort of thing. But there's a little bit of jank in there. It's definitely not, this isn't a AAA game. This is a AA game. Perfect for Game Pass. I would not have been upset if I spent $40. I could say that as far as if we're going to do the value to video games thing. If I had spent $40 and played this with my brother for a while, I would be happy with that. It wouldn't be, oh man, this is trash. And we've all had those moments where you gamble and lose, and this isn't one of them. So he's high on it. We finally figured out at the very end of that playthrough, we figured out how to level up our equipment and equip the new loot we found and all that kind of stuff because we hadn't seen how to do it beforehand. So we were going through that whole first act with our original equipment and quiver and axe and bracers and everything. So now that we've upgraded the equipment, it's like, okay, we might have a shot at this. Let's dive back in, because I was getting ready to be like, because as soon as we beat that first act, we knew we had gotten all this loot. We found it everywhere. It's like, okay, let's go and equip it. And you go to the shopkeeper, and it feels like that should be the transaction, and you're only leveling up the stuff you had. So I leveled up all that stuff, but then when you're in this main area where the shopkeeper's at, then you suddenly have a menu to equip all the stuff. I'm like, I just leveled up all that stupid shit and spent all my credits or things that you built up and diamonds and all that. I spent it all on this janky shit that I'm not even going to use because I've already swapped it out with everything I found. The equipment does reflect on the character. I think that's important. It's been a thing for me since like the RPG days. It seems like Final Fantasy VII did that. When you got a new sword, you could literally see Cloud holding that on the PS1 game. That was always huge to me. But that's the first 2 hours of Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance, which is very unlike the Dark Alliance 1 and 2 we all knew and love from consoles, but still a very good experience. And that is my games played.
Well done.
Good variety there, right? For once.
Yeah.
Not just Halo.
Yeah, I played some Sea of Thieves.
Bridge Crew.
Bridge Crew. I'm only with 4 people on some sort of vessel. That's it. That's my genre. I play the intro to Final Fantasy IV, and then when we leave the Red Wings, I'm done. That's it. All right, who's next?
Mine's very easy, quick. I forgot to mention last time I did the Monster Hunter Stories 2 Wings of Ruin demo. I played through it. I think I beat the demo. It was like 7 hours.
The demo was 7 hours?
That's how long it took me to get through it. Yeah.
Dang.
It gives you a good feel of the game. So, like, I've already built up enough my party, I guess, hopefully I'll take with me, because I know that the save will transfer.
That game looks good.
So,
everything I've seen from it.
So, outside of that, I mean, get these monsters, what you call monsties, in the game. You find eggs, you bring them back to the stables, and you hatch them, and you get different types of monsties, as they call them. There's different areas in the levels where you can either climb vines, break rocks, charge at enemies. There's different monsters that give you these different abilities that play out in the open field. Outside of that, going to the battle system, and I'll get to the story in a minute. Going to the battle system is like a rock, paper, scissors.
Like Fire
They
Emblem?
give you an option between, yeah, basically. You get speed, power, and technical. Speed beats power, power beats technical, and technical beats speed. If you do an attack, your enemies will also have that scene from that little threes triangle right there to choose from. If you do one that is weak against, so if they choose power and you choose speed, you'll get a boosted attack. If your Monstie, which can join you for certain attacks, happens to do the same exact one as you, it's kind of like a double attack that happens at the same time, which does more damage. What I've learned is it's turn-based, and it also you can increase the speed of the battle, so you can go up to 3x, which made it a lot more easier for me. 1x is kind of because it does get a little grindy, so the 3x kind of helps your battles move a lot more faster pace and get more intention to the story. There was a couple times in there where I almost did not go through with this game at all because it straight throws you in the story where like these riders are hosting these hunters on this island, and they basically betray them and they go after a sacred monster on the island. And then they find out about it, and you're kind of like the grandson of Red, which is kind of like a legendary rider, and you're like initiated into the riders, and you go out and research and try to figure out what's happening. So majority of those 7 hours is just a prologue on how to play the game. Is a lot of fucking shit you have to go through. Like you go here, you got to do this attack. You'll find these caves, and you get into these caves, and these caves you'll find random treasures, and in there you'll find the egg, and you have to carry the egg out. And there's a lot of this is where it teaches the gameplay mechanics, and you don't actually get to the actual story bit of the game because that's where it ends at the demo. It's basically where it sets off what this game's going to be about story wise is how it ends the demo. But a majority of it is like that first 5 hours is just tutorials. It's just going through the battle system, different types of monsters you can have. They'll tell you like, oh, there's something happened this part of Island, so you got to go further inland and go over here and go do this. And it's kind of like fetch quest, and it's just dragging you along to show you the different aspects of play the game. So like you can do different like what the off-field stuff you can do. You can jump across platforms and stuff like that. They kind of just show you as you go through there and what you need.
They showed you everything.
Yeah, it shows the companion. I mean, basically, it gives you an idea of what this game's about, and it'll let you know if you like it or not. So you don't have to be that person who buys it and like, I heard it was good, but it wasn't for me. But I enjoyed it, man. And when I got to the end, I'm very interested in the story because at this point now, you end up meeting this elf-like creature at the end of the game who knows your grandfather, and she looks like she hasn't aged a day. She still looks like a teenager. And so she kind of tells a story like all these. I forgot the name of the monster that's going through there because I played it about a week ago. I forgot to mention it last week. I apologize. I forgot the name of the monster in there. They're like gathering about and attacking the world they're in. So now you have to leave the island and investigate. So like apparently you have this power that's similar to like your grandfather's and stuff like that. And it's a silent protagonist. So it's you create the character any way you want. It can be male, female. You can. It's like any other Monster Hunter. You can edit it up and down in whatever way you want to look at it. But the protagonist is silent itself. It doesn't talk much. You end up meeting a cat that's similar to like Mewtwo that knows how to speak, and but it's not like a evil cat. So it's one of those ones that's like it's got personality versus the other ones because the other ones can speak too. So it's like they call a unique one, and he has the ability to sniff eggs and tell you which one's like a rare monster or not. So there's a lot of stuff going for it. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I think I got the collector's edition that just shipped today. So I should get it Friday. I think I got that one from GameStop.
What does that come with?
Before they sold out. I think it comes with an amiibo and some DLC. I'm not sure what's part of the DLC.
What platforms you play the demo on?
I played on Switch. I don't think they came out with a demo on Steam. Okay. Somebody had made a comment earlier that they didn't even know it was coming on Steam. And somebody had replied in that comment that it was probably because it was money hatted by Nintendo, and it's coming to Steam, but I think Nintendo paid for all the promotion for it, and that's why you see Switch everywhere. But Capcom didn't put and PC at the end of it.
Right.
So there's a lot of people didn't even know it was coming to PC. They were surprised when they searched Steam and it was on there. But I don't think there was a demo on Steam yet. I could be wrong. I have to double check and see at some point. I think the demo was a Nintendo only thing, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I mean, that's it. So, I mean, I know the game comes out this weekend, and the reviews on it have been pretty, like you said, has been pretty good. They said it's about a 50 to 60 hour game. I tried playing the first one in the 3DS, and I just never could get into it. I think it's just that whole learning curve or whatever when you get in that game and it tells you the whole mechanics. It's just, if you can get past that, you're fine. There's some games I can't really do hand holding that much. If it hand holds too much for me, and I'm like, just let me fucking get in there and figure it out and fuck up. And then just reference it when I needed some hand holding. Like, hey, all this shit we showed you is in here, and just skip it. You want to skip it. Like this, you're forced to it. I'm like sitting there doing like the exact number of attacks they need me to do to initiate something. I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I get it.
Yeah, you don't want to be stuck in like a menu simulator thing.
But it is what it is. It does get better once the story takes off. Outside of that, the last thing you would ever expect me to play, and I don't know why this is even happening, but for whatever fucking reason, I looked at Dragon Quest IV on there and I popped it in the 3DS, and I got 10 hours of Dragon Quest IV. Yeah. I got to the part where I got to as it starts out when you play the hero in the very beginning, which I guess is supposed to be the chosen hero, is a prologue, and then it breaks off into these as Richard always says, the Dragon Quest series does well as vignettes.
The side stories are great.
You meet a new person in your party. So like the first one was Ragnar, and he's investigating these missing children in the world. They're disappearing, and then you come to find out that these monsters are kidnapping children to find the new hero. The theory was the hero was going to be a child, and they were trying to find out he's going to be that goes after the Lord of the Underworld, which I guess is that ruler of that time and that world. After all that, he goes on his quest to find the chosen hero, and then you go into the next bit, which is like a princess, which is very similar to like Russia. They all have that Russian accent, so you can tell like they'll say like "niet" and all that stuff on there. Which she's very interesting because she has no magic abilities at all, and she's like trapped into her room, and her father has forbid her from leaving. She wants her to act more like a princess. And then she basically busts down the wall in her room and escapes, and then she's basically wants to prove her strength. And you have these two random characters that are from the castle that Caesar does this, and they join your party. Trying to find her name. For whatever reason, it escapes me. Elena. That's chapter 2. And so as you go through it, you end up going through these areas where like a fake princess gets kidnapped and you have to save it because you know she's the real one, and your father loses his voice and you have to get this like nectar honey from the elves, and he drinks it so he can get his voice back, and he basically gives them permission that she can go about the land and try to figure it out. And then you end up in this tourney where the chapter's called Journey to the Tourney, so you get to the tournament and you play it on there, and Cyro the Manslayer, which was supposed to basically ESPN Ocho. Basically Cyro the Manslayer was supposed to be the final villain of a fight, and he never showed up. He skipped out of the fight, and then you go back to your original castle, and then everybody in the castle's gone, including her father's empty castle. And so then they leave to go find out what's going on with that. Now I'm in chapter 3 where I play Torino, and that's where I stopped. Or
Torneko, that's the shopkeeper guy, right?
I think they call him Talun in Japan, but I think it's Torneko. It's a shopkeeper guy. So literally that's where I stopped, because I think the first hour is just me going to a weapon salesman and like, hey, you work off commission, and I run the counter, and I'm just selling weapons all day. And I'm like, I can't do this. I do this for a living.
Yeah.
Working on commission.
I don't want a retail simulator.
At that point, I was like, all right, I'm taking a break from this game. So that was about 10 hours. So, I mean, at that point, basically I could see what's happening. You're slowly getting to know your people that are going to be in your party in the future before they meet up with this chosen hero.
I mean, they're known as a slow burn. Is it good?
I'm fine until I got to that point. I was like, I don't want to do this. I'm going there. I'm selling weapons. I tell the guy I'm done for the day. I go back home. I go in bed. I wake up, and I go over and I sell weapons again. I'm like, what am I doing wrong? It's an endless cycle. I just want this to end. And I know it's gonna be something like me. I just one day is like, fuck this shit and just shoot birds and stuff like that and just walk away. And that's probably what I got to do at some point. So I'm like, But at that point it's where it initially lost me. But I don't know. Maybe I'll keep fucking around and beat that game. We'll see what happens. It'd be the first Dragon Quest game I've ever beat in my life. I think I've beaten Dragon Quest 1 on the Dragon Warrior 1 on the Game Boy Color. I've beaten a Dragon Warrior game.
You beat a Dragon Warrior game.
That was my phase where I bought
everything. A Dragon Quest game.
Never been a Dragon Quest game. Is that a Dragon Quest game? It is a Dragon Quest game. Yeah, it is.
Does Double Dragon count?
Stop, Brant. Shut your filthy mouth.
Double Dragon Quest?
Dragon Quest.
I can look and see if there's one. I looked the other day and I have Double Dragon
Quest.
But
how is that not like a Musou game?
That'd be great. I'll play it. Yeah. Outside of that, I mean, I'm slowly going through Scarlet Nexus. I got to the first chapter in the very beginning, where they kind of given me my own team, and I got reunited with like an old childhood friend, and she's like her power is a pyromania.
We all were.
I want to say pyromaniac, but that's a crazy person. But and then his is like telekinesis, and we're going off to our mission. So at that point, I was like, I'm done for the day. Because outside of that, man, I've been pretty busy this weekend. I had a lot of family come in from Florida, so we hang out with them all weekend. Yeah. So majority of it.
What is?
But yeah, that's
what is that subtitle of Dragon Quest 4?
Chapters
Chosen.
Chosen.
Sounds
yeah.
Weird. I think that's the one I'm missing from that DS trilogy. I don't think I have that one physically.
I don't know what happened, man. I literally just pulled it off the shelf. And I was like, let me open it up and see if it's in there. And it was in there. I was like, and then I pop it in the DS, and I was like, at least I'll get system settings further down my list. If I can get that out of the top 5, that'll be worth it. So I'm like,
system settings.
It's at 20 hours, and if I put at least 40 hours in this game, its system settings drops below 5. If I can get below 10, it'll be off in my top 10 list.
Beat the average. All you're trying to do is beat the average.
I mean, there's no updates getting pushed to the 3DS anymore, so there's no reason for me to go system settings. So the touchscreen just starts going all over the place. I'm like, I'll just live with it. I'm not going in there and recalibrating the screen. That's it. I'm done with system settings.
You know what got me away from 3DS? I mean, I know I'll duck back in for the library at some point. Puzzle pieces. I got all the puzzle pieces. I was like, I have no reason to carry this thing around, try to walk around the mall, take it to concerts, anything like that. I got all the puzzle pieces. I think.
It's the most important thing.
Did they spot pass?
No, they killed that. Yeah. They killed it, man.
Bring that back to Switch.
I don't even go in there and check anymore. I don't even know when I went into the Me Plaza or whatever the hell they call it in there.
Spot pass was amazing.
Hey, I love building the puzzles, man. They were fun.
Remember how we go to the Zelda concert and get like 50?
You had to go in there and clear them out because it would just build up after you get
so 10. Many people. They're just waiting. All right. Cesar, is that all your games?
Absolutely. Go ahead, Brent. Tell us about something.
Prince of Persia Forgotten Sands for the Wii.
It's a Double Dragon game. Any console. Any console.
Double Dragon.
So I beat Metroid Zero Mission. Metroid Zero Mission is it's good that it's a very good game, because I told you when I had originally played it, I did something and got myself stuck. I was pretty sure I was stuck, and I just restarted because I wasn't. I was like 25 minutes into it, and I just think I screwed myself and got in the wrong area. So I was playing it on the Game Boy player off the GameCube, and I had a really odd glitch. I was running from room to room trying to do the speed boost to do something else and get somewhere, and then all of a sudden I go from room to room and the game boots back out. It boots me to the title screen. And I'm like, what the hell is this?
It's like Eternal Darkness.
So I go in. Yeah, so I hit start, and there's my save data. I click my save data, and instead of loading it, it goes boop right back to the title screen.
Oh, shit.
I freak out because at this point, I'm like 2+ hours in. And I go, shit, I guess I'm just going to have to restart it again. So I delete that save file, which I really should have just started a new save file and just to see. But I delete.
that game's not that long, right? If I remember
No,
correctly, when I beat it, it wasn't that long at all.
it's
It's
not
not,
too
but
too
2 hours
long.
will still
But
piss you off.
I mean, I played. I think the last time I played it on the Wii U through the gamepad.
yeah,
And by the way, all three of those Castlevania games for the Game Boy Advance are on the Wii U.
Thanks for checking.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
they're $8 each. Yeah,
I
they're
might
still
have to
there.
jump on those.
Not bad.
24 bucks. That's not bad. That's a lot of game.
Didn't mean to derail you. Sorry, Brent. Continue.
but I deleted that save file thinking that maybe it was corrupt or something somehow. And then created a new save and hit start, and it kicked me back out to the title screen. And what I wound up having to do is just restart the GameCube. So I didn't even have to delete my save file.
Oh.
So that was, yeah.
Oh yeah, because it uses that disc, right? And that disc could
Yeah.
have fucked up or something when it loaded in the
I don't know.
memory.
So it happened at least a couple more times. And I don't know. I took apart the Game Boy player. It seems fine. Everything seems good. All the connections seem good. I took out that disc and looked at it. The disc looks pristine.
You only need that. Because I did this research when I got this weird thing about playing Four Swords Adventures. I want to load up a Wii with Four Swords Adventures on GameCube. And then instead of using Game Boys with the Game Boy link cable, I want to use GameCubes with actual TVs and play it that way. I got this weird thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out because I have 4 Game Boy players, I don't have 4 discs. But you can boot off the disc each time. So you only need it for startup for that one time to boot that Game Boy player off that disc.
It just loads it on memory. The memory is it's like a little script. It doesn't read the disc constantly. It just loads up. It's enough to fit in the memory of the
and then you can pop that disc out and
Yeah.
move it to the next one and boot and keep going. Like, this it's my weird use case, but I could keep going with that one disc and boot all 4 of those. So it probably is not the disc. If you got it to go, you probably are fine with the disc. It never got to that point.
Well, and that's the thing is, once I took it apart and put everything back together, made sure everything was clean, popped it back together. It was fine. It was working all right. But I mean, even before that, I started having before I took it apart, I was besides having it kick me out to the title screen, I would have it freeze when I'd pause the game. Like it would just, I'd hit pause and it wouldn't even go to pause. It would just freeze on whatever image.
Is it the ROM you have? Maybe.
That's the thing. I took out the flash card. I popped it into the DS Lite that I got here, and just started playing it on that. Had no problems. And I played it for 30 minutes straight. I was like, okay, so, and then I took apart the like I said, I took it apart, took a look at it, used some duster, just double checking. Everything was fine. But again, it was Monday. I had it happen again where it booted back out to the title screen, and I don't know what the heck
You running all this stuff off a memory card, SD card?
Yes.
Could be a corrupted SD card.
Well, I mean, the SD card's fine because it works fine on the other hardware.
Roll that out by
Yeah, but
moving it over.
I'm just letting you know this is onboard memory.
Yeah,
it's prone to random crashes, and it may not crash at all. May crash sometimes. I mean, I'm just telling you.
at some point I am gonna boot up some just regular Game Boy Advance games, Game Boy Color games, see how they do. I mean, at some point, at this point, the GameCube is 20 years old. So
I think it's something with the
I
cube?
hope it's not a. I don't know. I hope not. I've never had a problem out of it before.
Did you clean the?
Have you tried?
Go ahead, Cesar.
Have you tried? Do you have a legit version of Zero Mission?
No. That's why I said I'm just gonna throw a bunch of different Game Boy Advance games, Game Boy Color games.
Between me and you, I would back up that card and put it on another card. So I'm just saying.
Oh, I mean, it's fine now.
He beat it. So what happened? What did you rule out?
I mean, no, I'm just saying. Even then, I mean, you have more games on that memory card.
Yeah.
You have a backup of that memory card.
Yes.
Yeah, and then you're fine then.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I've played it, and that's the thing is, I would pop it back in, and I'd have no
Yeah.
problems, for a couple hours, and then I'd turn it off, go do something else, come back, and play it, and it would give me that weird error where it would just boot out to the title screen. But at this point, you mean I'm saving all the damn time, so it really wouldn't set me back much. But yes, I finally beat Zero Mission. Um, damn, damn.
It's
That's
a
a good
good ass
game.
game, isn't it?
And after playing through it, and rewatching that Treehouse event that they had showing off Dread, that part that's right there toward the end where you're just Zero Suit Samus and you're running through the mothership and you've got all the pirates chasing you and you can set off those alarms and they all come from every direction and they're chasing and shooting at you. That kind of looks like what they're doing with the new Metroid Dread, where those Emmy robots are like patrolling around and trying to catch you.
Yeah.
If you make a little sound, they start going towards you, try and figure out what was
I
there.
fucked up and watched that Treehouse feed over this past week. That like 45-minute Treehouse demo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never should have done that. I was kind of so in the trailer. I was like, it's a new Metroid. I'm down. Let's go. And then I watched that and I was like, I want to fucking play this game so bad.
No. I can't wait.
Are you going to Super Metroid after this?
I started Super
Okay.
Metroid a little bit before the podcast.
There we go. What are you playing on?
I've just got it booted up on the Nintendo Online service on the Switch.
Good way to play.
So that way when I'm trying to do some of those like off the wall jumps, if I don't quite make it or something, if I do something stupid, I have that option to just rewind a couple frames as
Absolutely.
well. And gosh, I feel like this one, I'm finding power-ups and stuff just left and right. Like just every time I go somewhere different, like boom, power up, boom, power up, boom, power up. So I beat that first boss. Obviously, I mean the pirates are back. They took that one little Metroid's
The baby.
larvae,
Baby Metroid.
the baby that I had saved. And they've taken it back, and I'm back on the same planet I was before in the original Metroid, fighting the same damn pirates and monsters and stuff, aliens I have before.
I love how the intro has you going in where you exited at the first Metroid or Zero Mission and going past like the Mother Brain container and all that stuff. It sets the atmosphere and everything so. And I know you're a big Symphony of the Night fan, and it just sets that atmosphere and that it's atmosphere, but it's thicker than that. I'm trying to find a descriptor. Yeah. It just sets that feeling and that
just the complete
mood.
Like tone of the game.
It cements it so fast and so subtly, and it's not even it's not a boss encounter. It's not racing against the clock. It's not a jump you had to make or anything like that. It's just going past an area that you've cleared. At that point it was 7 years ago, 8 years ago at that point. And just reliving that, oh man, she's having to go back there and she's doing this and retracing those, but it's the same, but now it's 16-bit, so it just looks it's even more immersive.
It looks and that whole thing, I mean, it's like she's like, oh yeah, I'm done with this. I've done all I need to. I'm gone. I'm gonna find some other bounty, and then all of a sudden, boom, they're back. And it's that just when you think you're out, they pull you back in, kind of deal.
Has any other game done something like that where it puts you in that same? That's a hell of a game design decision. Right off the rip, you see that.
And that's the thing, is going through the, just starting out, you're like, oh, I remember this. This looks familiar. And then you start getting down. It's like, it looks familiar, but everything's different. This whole world has changed. So
They both have cafeteria areas.
yeah.
A lot more food options.
Every time I see that. So
Brent
yeah,
Star
I'm gonna keep going. Brent Star Bistro. I'm gonna keep going through that.
Damn, I want to play Super Metroid now.
And then eventually I'll have to try and figure out what's going on with that GameCube player, or if it is just that SD card, like Cesar said, because I'll have to run through Fusion as well, and that's the only way I can do that
Fusion's
on.
good.
Unless I
mean, how expensive are these Game Boy Advance games now?
Oh, they got crazy. They got crazy over the past 2 weeks. Insane.
They start at just above $100.
What about mine? Mine's complete in box with manual.
Ooh,
both of those.
200 plus.
Yeah, I was about to say at least.
I kept all my boxes for my GBA games. So
other than that, I did get one game in this week. It's a Japanese import fighting game for the Super Famicom. Gundam Wing Endless Duel.
I was not expecting this game. What the fuck?
Gundam Wing Endless Duel is a phenomenal fighting game.
What is this?
And it is probably one of my favorites, and it sucks that we never got it over here.
I think I played the hacked ROM on the SNES 9X.
Yeah,
when I was in high school, when somebody hacked it and put it in English.
Get your Gundam fix. What does it play like, Brand?
And the thing is, oh my gosh, it's basically like, it's almost like a Street Fighter deal, but with mechs. But the thing is, every Gundam has their own like special moves. So like, Wing Zero, it has this in the show. It has like an airplane mode. So like it's the only one that can like kind of transform into this kind of like bird mode or airplane mode kind of deal. And that's one of the moves you can do, is where you like turn into the airplane mode and like fly back and forth across the stage like 2 or 3 passes, or you pull out your big like laser cannon and just do this super move across the stage. Another one is basically one Gundam that's just got an arsenal of all different types of guns and missiles. So like his super move, he just like opens up and like all these different guns and missiles fire off at once. It's good, and it's a damn good fighting game. It's so good. And that's honestly, awesome. Like Cesar said, you can find a translated ROM. I think I have a translated ROM download on my phone and on a hard drive somewhere. But honestly, it's not heavy, intense dialogue at all. It's like when whichever character wins, there's like whatever finishing text that they have after they win a match. But that's it. So you could totally run through, and it's literally, the story mode is just, you pick whichever one you want and you run through the gauntlet of every other character, and it ramps up the difficulty just like every other fighting game.
Of 16-bit fighter where you have like a story mode. Is there any practice or?
I think the only one we ever got was Gundam Battle
Assault, which I also have for the PS1. There was Battle Assault 1 and 2.
That's the only one we ever got.
But yeah, there's a story, there's a versus. I want to say there's, oh my gosh, there was some other mode too, like a challenge mode or something as well. But it's a damn good game.
That was, what was the name of that Gundam Super Famicom game?
Gundam Wing Endless Duel.
You can duel endlessly.
I think it's a play off the movie that they did was Gundam Wing Endless Waltz. So, but
you
that
dance,
was
then you shoot guns at each other.
you dance and then you duel. But that was my games played.
I like that Metroid Zero Mission update. Are you going straight into? You're
Oof,
doing
so
Super
good.
Metroid. You're not gonna go straight into Fusion.
No,
And you ju-
I'm already
Yeah, you
into
just
Super
played Samus
Metroid, man.
Returns. You never
Already
beat
in it.
Super Metroid, right?
No, I've played it. I've played up to certain points
Yep.
several
Yeah,
times, but
because
I've
you
never.
you officially just beat the remakes, basically. That's all, right?
Yeah.
1 and 2, right?
I beat the remake of
The
1 and 2. Yeah.
modern approachability friendly ones.
The beatable ones.
All right, is that it? We're good to go.
That's it.
You just got to go to 3, and then if you haven't beat Fusion yet, you just got to go into Fusion.
Oh, Fusion's a treat, man.
Fusion's good.
As fuck.
Mm.
Fusion is my. Oh, am I gonna say this? Yep, Fusion's my favorite 2D Metroid game. There it is. There you have it. The official NOFODcast proclamation.
I praise.
It is, and I played them all. The only one I've not officially beat is the Justin Bailey code on Metroid 1, which I think is the way a lot of people beat that one.
Yeah, a lot of people did the special ROM now on the Switch Online, so.
Oh, you could do that too, right? The SP.
Shoot the fire missile at Mother Brain, and that's it. And get the ending.
Shoot Mother Brain and see the ending. That's it.
Yeah.
All right. Y'all got anything else to add?
I think that's it.
Really good show.
Great
really good
show. Better than average. Average show. Thank you for joining us this week, and we'll try to beat the average and have a better show next week. Thank you.
Yeah, D's get degrees, man. Remember that.
Bye.
Adios.
See ya.